The search team followed a well-worn and widened trail through dense jungle and rocky terrain southwest of Krong Klong, below Quang Tri in central Vietnam. The same trail used by the Viet Cong to escape with the MIAs for which the team searched. The ever-present fog and fine drizzle gave the forest a mythical aura during the daylight hours and an eerie cast under moonlight. Soon, it would be typhoon season north of the 18th parallel. Hopefully, no storm that strong would hit their location. The sun broke through with penetrating heat, stirring up the humidity and adding an additional bit of discomfort. In place of the majestic triple canopy of trees that stood before chemical defoliation, after the war mangroves were planted near all the streams and waterways. The mangroves should have invited the return of birds. Yet, closing in on half a century later, not many were sighted or heard. The estimate was that the normal forest would take well over 100 years to grow back. Whole herds of wild elephants and other creatures died out from Agent Orange and other defoliants. It was hoped that any survivors crossed over to Laos and Cambodia. Not many elephants existed presently in Vietnam, except in zoos. However, wild herds had recently been reported around Dak Lak, a central highlands province. Sara and Esmerelda eyed each other's matted hair and chuckled. They were a pair. Sarah's long, natural, sun-streaked blonde hair, with a few premature grays, contrasted to Esmeralda's short, dyed jet-black waves. For convenience sake, Sara kept her hair braided. Esmeralda, having been away from a beauty shop for many weeks, had a lot of telltale gray beginning to show through her short, coiffed strands. On the outside, they seemed different as noon and midnight. On the inside, they were closer than mother and daughter. On a day-to-day basis, both had reserves of energy, and their thoughts and actions played off each other. Sara was naturally thin. Despite her age, Esmeralda would have no part of what she termed an old lady's shape. Being active kept them thin and fit, which was a prerequisite for joining the search team. They sipped bottled water and watched two of the crew interact over by some tall shrubs. One was the former Marine First Lieutenant, Palmer Dane, forced out of the group by his VC captors, shot, and left to die in dense jungle when he became weakened by dysentery. The VC were kept so busy trying to find their way, no one went back to check on him. The other was the Yard, Tan Van Thuy, who was not present during the prisoners' march through the jungle, but was one of the tribesmen who helped the U.S. military in Vietnam. The Montagnards were who found the first lieutenant close to death in the bush and spirited him out of danger. Several of the rugged Hmong took turns carrying him on their backs, despite his dead weight. When the terrain got rough, they carried him on a makeshift stretcher of poles and reeds. He recovered at the NSA Naval Hospital near Marble Mountain at Da Nang. After coming out of a 3-day coma due to infection, when Palmer was able to clarify what the Hmong had tried to explain, though unable to speak English, a search party was sent out for the others, but to no avail. As far as the search team was able to penetrate the jungle without compromising their own safety, they had found scant evidence that the trail had been used for anything more than normal passage through the forest. Hux found Tan. Sara spoke quietly and reverently there in the jungle. The human remains detection canine that Hux usually brought was on a job elsewhere. Hux contacted dog trainers in Honolulu, and that's when he met Tan.